LeBron made good on his promise and brought a championship to Cleveland, as we know, and he's got a player option after next season. And according to Bleacher Report, his wife, Savannah, wants to live in L.A., where they have a home. Stephen A., what should LeBron do?
To me, LeBron should play this season out and then leave. And it has nothing to do with the decision that Dan Gilbert made. The fact is that in all likelihood, you're not going to be able to compete with the Golden State Warriors for a championship unless you relocate. Even if you lucked up and acquired Paul George, and I've got some information on that as well, even if you lucked up and acquired Paul George, it would only be for 1 year. Paul George is going to be a Los Angeles Laker by the summer of 2018, if not earlier. So because of that reality, chances are you're going to have other folks building something elsewhere, and Cleveland's not going to be the destination spot that it has been. And as a result of that, if you're LeBron James, you just stand there, or do you go somewhere else? Now, he has to make a decision. Is he satisfied and comfortable at home in Akron, Ohio, being near Akron, Ohio, being in Cleveland, and he's ready to retire? Look, I went to 7 straight NBA Finals. I won 3 chips. I brought a championship back here for the first time since 1964. I've done my thing, so let me just fade into the twilight. He either makes that call and stay, or he makes the call that as long as he's playing, he wants to be in a position to legitimately compete for a championship and leave. Those are the 2 choices that he has. I think beyond this year, I don't think that Cleveland will be in the picture to this level. Of course, if they kept LeBron and Kyrie, they're going to always be knocking at the door. But on this level, I don't see that being the case a couple of years down the road. So as a result of that, LeBron should move on after next season.
Actually, there's a third option here. Not that LeBron can do. LeBron can't opt out, right? He doesn't. He can opt out after next year.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a no trade clause, right?
Not to my
so
knowledge,
he
no.
can't shoot down a trade.
Right.
And he can't leave this year. But obviously, he's signaled to many, behind the scenes that he's gone. And this latest move, firing Griffin without consulting LeBron, also suggests that they're planning.
Talked to him. They met. He talked to him. He told LeBron what he was going to do. But go ahead.
Right. But really, if you are Dan Gilbert, LeBron tells you what you're going to do if he's going to stick around. If he's not going to stick around, then you can tell LeBron what you're going to do. The point, because LeBron has the balance of power, at least in the Eastern Conference, and is the only guy who's ever made your franchise relevant. So those are signals that LeBron believes he's out of there, and that's been understood by those in the NBA. Therefore, what would Dan Gilbert do if he had guts? But boy, I'm not going to lie, it takes guts. Most wouldn't do this. He'd trade LeBron right now. He'd trade LeBron while you can get something for him. Because LeBron doesn't have any say in the matter. This will obviously weaken the team LeBron goes to, but you can get a haul for him right now. You will not be able to do that next year. So you want to see him walk out the door for nothing? Or do you want to rebuild your team with draft picks and good young players? Because you could do that right now. But then you are the man who traded LeBron James, and you will be vilified in the short run. In the long run, history may reevaluate, but in the short run, you will be killed. That's why it takes guts. You have to care more about the health of your franchise long term than your public perception in the moment.
Here's what I believe you're missing in all of this. If Dan Gilbert were to trade LeBron, there would be riots in the streets of Cleveland. Okay, let's be clear about that. There'd be riots in the streets. Cars would be turned over, stuff would be getting burnt down. All of that stuff would be happening, in my opinion. That's what I believe. That's number one. Number two, as crazy as this may sound, and as unfathomable as it may be to believe, you got to remember something. There are certain situations, certain spots where folks would rather have what they have and come up short than actually win without that person. See, if LeBron is somewhere else, Cleveland doesn't mind. Cleveland wants to go in. They're going to win. They want to win like everybody else. But to let him go, let the prodigal son go, that's an entirely different matter altogether, because he's gone because you let him go. If you think about it this way, Not that it's a comparison because Michael Jordan won a championship his last year in Chicago. Do you have any idea what level of value they could have got for Michael Jordan? But do you know what would have happened in the streets of Chicago if Reinsdorf had allowed the trade to take place? What about the trading of Kobe? Even when Kobe came on my radio show in 2007 and said, I'd rather play on the planet Pluto than play with the Los Angeles Lakers right now. What was the Los Angeles Lakers' response? Let's all just calm down. Let's give it time. Let's celebrate. Because they
Dr.
knew.
Jerry Buss.
Because
Dr. Jerry Buss.
I understand that, but you got to remember, but by this time.
Went to Kobe and said, if I have a 5-carat diamond, I'm not trading it for 5 1-carat diamonds.
But you also got to remember the health had debilitated, and as a result, because remember, prior to that, he had made a commitment. It's Kobe. I'm going with Kobe, not Shaq. So you have to remember that the streets of Los Angeles, it'd have been a problem. Shaq left us a few years ago. Now you're going to trade Kobe?
You're outlining.
Those are the kind of things where you don't do that.
You are
so
outlining why it would take a great owner to do it or a great man to do it.
No, I'm telling
You're outlining why it would take so much courage for Dan Gilbert to do it, but I do not believe he has the requisite heart to do that. That takes something special to withstand the criticism and the reaction of Cleveland to trade LeBron. But the alternative is
fallout.
I get it. The alternative is he will walk next year. You will get 0 for him because you didn't have the guts to do what would vilify you in the short term in order to preserve the long-term health of your franchise. I do not believe Dan Gilbert has what it takes to do it, so I think it's a moot point.
Yeah, how about LeBron, Paul George, Lonzo Ball, all in Lakers uniforms? Maybe.